Greetings everyone. So I wanted to make a video just showing you a couple of these great clips where basketball coach Joe Mazzula is giving wonderful responses to silly questions at press conferences. So I admit I don't know a whole lot about the NBA or American sports in general. When I follow sports, I'm generally watching sports in the UK and in Europe. But I am aware of this man, Joe Mazzula, because he's been talked about in Catholic circles. And he is a Catholic who doesn't hide his faith. And I love that. He's not ashamed of his faith. And when asked daft questions that aren't related to Christianity in any way, he somehow still manages to give a great Christian response to these questions. So he doesn't do what some people have done when they don't like a question, and that's to shut it down or to say no comment or just to not reply, but he gives a Christian response to that question. So I want to play you a couple of these responses that he's given. Now, one of them I've already played before on my channel, but I want to show you it again if any of you haven't seen that video. So this, if I can set it up for you, was during a press conference that took place after one of his NBA games, one of the games that his team was playing. And William and Kate from the British royal family actually turned up to watch that game in the arena. And so after this match, during the press conference, Joe Mazzula was asked if he got a chance to meet them. The question was, did you get a chance to meet the members of the royal family? And this was his fantastic reply.
A non-basketball question. Did you get a chance to meet with the royal family? And if not, how was it like having them there in the building?
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph?
The Prince and Princess of Wales.
Oh, no, I did not. I'm only familiar with one royal family. I don't know too much about that one. Thank you.
I just love the kind of uncomfortableness afterwards where people don't really know what to do, and the reporter gives a nervous laugh and then explains what she really meant by the question, even though he knows what she meant. But it's just brilliant. It's a beautiful response. You know, the royal family, there's only one that he's aware of, and that's Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. I just love that clip. Every now and then I just watch that clip because I love it so much. But that's not the only time that he's done something like this. There was another one. Now this one, again, if I'm going to set it up for you, as far as I'm aware, was before the NBA final. And his team, the Boston Celtics, were playing in the NBA final. And the reporter during the press conference asks him what he thinks about the fact that both of the coaches involved in the final are black. He wants to get his opinion on this because this obviously matters to the reporter a lot. And he wants to know if it matters to Joe Mazzula as well. And as you're about to see, the color of the coach's skin doesn't matter to Joe Mazzula at all. And he just gives a very short, sharp, but wonderful response to the question.
Vince in the back left.
Hey, Joe. Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. For the first time since 1975, this is the NBA Finals where you have two black head coaches. Given the plight sometimes of black head coaches in the NBA, do you think this is a significant moment? Do you take pride in this? How do you view this, or do you not see it at all?
I wonder how many of those are been Christian coaches.
David Aldridge.
And once again, there's that uncomfortable silence afterwards when no one really knows what to do and they're wondering, is he going to say anything else? Does he have any more to add to this, or is that just going to be it? And that's it. He just gives that response and then he looks around waiting for the next question. Does anyone else have a question? It's brilliant. I love it. You know, it's funny because a lot of people who like to bring up race a lot, they will reference someone like Martin Luther King Jr. and how much of an idol he is to them and how much they look up to him. But they'll ignore what he said, because one of the things he famously said was that he hopes for a day, he dreams of a day, where people are not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And yet here, as we can see, To this reporter and to many people, the colour of the skin matters. And Joe Mazzula is saying no, it doesn't matter to him at all when he replies to that question. He doesn't directly say that, but he very clearly shows that that isn't important to him. And actually what's important to him is to know how many of the coaches are Christians. Are both of the coaches in the NBA final Christian? Because that's really all that counts, isn't it? Do people believe in their Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ? Are people ready to go to heaven? Are they gearing themselves towards heaven? Are they living their life morally well? Are their souls ready for God? Are they ready for heaven? Are they ready for when they die? The colour of their skin doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what colour your skin is. Do you believe in the truth, and are you living your life correctly? Are you living your life well, properly? So again, a fantastic reply. And this is the kind of reply, just like the previous one, where he mentioned the real royal family of Jesus, Mary and Joseph, that I could never see happening in England. Like, there are Catholic athletes and sports stars and coaches and politicians, etc., and yet I could never see any one of them here just openly saying something like that, responding to a question that isn't related to their faith at all in that way. In fact, even if they were asked a question about their faith, I still think they'd get nervous and sort of wouldn't know how to answer it. Whereas here's a guy who isn't asked about his faith and he just talks about his faith. So good on him. I love this guy. I was reading an article about him recently in the National Catholic Register, and there's a great quote from him where he said, "If we win the championship this year, we're flying to Jerusalem and we're walking from Jericho to Jerusalem." And then it also says that he noted that his trip there several years ago had radically transformed his faith. I know he's also done a video where he's showed people his home, and in his home he actually showed that he had a prayer room, like a shrine dedicated to prayer. It's just wonderful. And from what I can see in the article that I read, his faith seems to have really rubbed off positively on a lot of his players as well, who quite openly talk about their faith in God. So really great stuff. I'm going to link the article that I read. It was put up a few weeks ago in the description below, so you can have a read of that. And yeah, just read up a little bit about him if you want to, because he's one of those few people who aren't shy to talk about their faith. Although I'll be honest, when it comes to sports in the USA, there are quite a few players who I am very happy to see are not ashamed in any way at all to talk about their faith, to talk about God, to talk about Jesus. There are also football players, or as people in the USA would see it, soccer, football players here in Europe, particularly actually ones from South America and from countries in South America, who are not ashamed at all also to show their faith. And they'll sometimes showcase that on something they're wearing or even just mention it. But I feel like in the USA, I'll see it in post-game interviews where players will just thank God and thank Jesus and talk about how much their faith has helped them achieve what they achieved. And that's really great. So yeah, do take a look at that article, folks. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section, because I do like to read through that. Thank you very much for watching, and have a blessed day.